SEC Softball is presented by T-Mobile, America's best network. Number 20 LSU started the season 0-5 in the SEC. They've rallied with 6 wins in their last 9, pushing themselves to 2 games to none lead here in Columbia. Jayden Heavner had her name in lights in Game 1, a dazzling 11 strikeouts, a career high against an SEC opponent in a run rule win for the Bayou Bengals. In Game 2, it was the offense, led by Kylie Edwards, that stole the show, the first cycle in the 46-year history of LSU softball. Alongside Monica Abbott, I'm Nate Gatter. So glad to have you with us. LSU has waxed Missouri in the first 2 games of this series, and it's just continued the positive momentum the Tigers have been able to build since that start. They could have rolled over 0-5 in the SEC, but they did not.
They definitely did not, and they have motivation. They're right on the verge right now of will they host a regionals, and we don't know yet, but if they can continue to build their resume with SEC sweeps, they definitely will have a chance to host a regional come May.
LSU has not swept a road series in the SEC in over 2 years, but they have a chance to do it today because this offense has been dominant.
Absolutely dominant and on fire, up and down the lineup. They're doing it all in all ways with power and speed in base running. Kylie Edwards, Sierra Daniels, and even Alex Franklin all going yard in Game 2.
25 runs already in this series, more than LSU has scored in any other SEC series this season. Same story with hits, and those 6 home runs, what do you know? Also most in an SEC series this season, and we've played only 2 games. Sierra Harrison delivers the first pitch to Jayla Lassiter, and it's up high for ball 1 at the top of the LSU lineup.
Sierra Harrison got the start in Game 1, throwing 5 innings, a quality start.
Beth Torina sticking with largely the same lineup for LSU. Why not? 25 runs over the first 2 games, 14 of them driven in by Daniel and the 2 Edwards. Jayla Lassiter has hit the ball hard in this series. She's been rewarded with just 2 hits, 1 at each game. But she had a towering home run out to left field in Game 2 yesterday.
And that's really going to be the key.
Center field for Kaylee Langer. 1 away. You mentioned Sierra Harrison. A quality outing in many ways, those 5 innings she threw in the opener of this series on Thursday.
Yeah, Sierra threw some quality innings in Game 1, but they did take the loss. She throws about 66 to 67, a rise ball, a curveball on both sides of the plate, and a changeup. She has greatly improved since the start of the season and has come into her own in the month of March, and looking to create some more momentum in the month of April for this Missouri Tiger team.
One second baseman grounds out to the other. Just the 3rd time this weekend Missouri has retired Sierra Daniel. And it brings in Kylie Edwards, the woman of the moment.
Can you imagine hitting for the cycle? Kylie Edwards was able to do that yesterday. I was talking to Coach Beth Torina and how difficult it is to actually hit for the cycle in softball because of the size of the softball field. Sometimes the triple is the hardest one to get.
Driven in 6 runs in the series, Kylie Edwards. And how often does somebody come up for a last at bat, a triple away from the cycle, and you almost laugh at yourself for saying it because it's so unlikely in that at bat to get the triple, and she came through.
Yes, I mean, if I'm going to hit for a cycle, I would want my last at bat to need a single.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Edwards.
A big swing there from Edwards. I think it's safe to say she has seen the ball well. Looking like a watermelon up there.
1-2. Popped up off the hands. Updegrove makes the call at shortstop. And it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Sierra Harrison. First time since the first inning yesterday that LSU did not score.
Monticelli coming into game 3. She's thrown a lot of midweek games. Spotlight's a little bit more as a reliever, but getting the start here in game 3 because LSU is winning this series 2-0.
Missouri's lineup is looking for a boost. Just one run in a 9-1 loss on Thursday in the series opener. Yesterday afternoon, 4 runs, 3 of which came in the bottom of the first inning. In fact, in the first 5 batters, Abby Carr had the 2-run homer out of the 5 slot. LSU proceeded to score 16 of the remaining 17 runs in the game. Monticelli misses with ball 1 to Addie Waits. A chilly Saturday in Columbia, much cooler than the first 2 days in this series. Wind still blowing out toward right field as it has been the last couple of days.
Today, Missouri needs to be gritty at the plate. They've struggled at times offensively, not being able to score runs or get on base, but just be a little bit grittier. Work each pitch. Understand the strike zone a little bit better, foul pitches off, make hitters go deeper into at-bats, and work for a pitch that they can drive.
Waits to second, handled by Sierra Daniel for the first out. LSU has played some really good defense in this series. Not that either of the first 2 games have been marginal outcomes, but it's another place where LSU has had the advantage, really, in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, and sometimes defensively, it's just doing the routine play. It's making the good throw, keeping your feet moving through a ground ball. Communicating defensively on who's getting the ball, where you're at, talking to each other, keeping people in the game mentally.
Stefania Abrascato, just the 1 hit in the series so far, but came in very hot before that. Just missed. 2 balls and a strike.
It's a good pitch by Peyton Monticelli there.
Welcome those of you just joining us across the SEC network who watched Alabama beat Texas in the rubber match of that series. Here in Columbia, we have LSU looking for their first sweep on the road to the SEC in a couple of years, and they have outscored Missouri 25-5 over the first 2 games in this series. Monica Abbott, certainly a big opportunity for LSU to continue what has been a great last few weeks.
Yeah, LSU, they had an upset win versus Oklahoma at home last weekend, and they've used that momentum of that win to go into this series at Mizzou. And their offense has just been on fire, reinvigorated and motivated to potentially have a hosting situation for regionals in May.
Long battle between Peyton Monticelli and Stefania Abrascato. Another payoff. LSU started 0-5 in the SEC. They have won 6 of their last 9 in the conference. And an opportunity to pull within 1 game of 500 in the league with a win today. Of course, Missouri with a loss would drop below 500 overall. A major concern because it would mean ineligibility for a regional. Pitch is low, ball 4, an 8-pitch walk to Stefania Abrascato, and Missouri has the first base runner of the afternoon. What are we looking for from Peyton Monticelli?
Okay, Peyton Monticelli, right-handed pitcher. She throws the ball hard. She can hit up to 70 miles per hour. She throws a rise ball, a fastball, a curveball, and a drop ball. Mostly all hard pitches. Tries to stay at the bottom half of the zone is what the Missouri hitters need to look for. That means Missouri hitters need to stay low into their legs and get their barrel down to make solid contact below their waist if they want to be successful against Monticelli today.
Struggle of a series for Sydney Forrester so far. One of 3 freshmen in the top 5 spots in Missouri's lineup. Addie Waits, the leadoff hitter, who grounded out to second, and Abby Carr, who is in the hole. Monticelli getting her first start against an SEC opponent as an LSU Tiger. Had just 3 prior appearances in league games.
Yeah, Monticelli has come out of the bullpen quite a bit for LSU late in the game, more as a closer because she does have that speed. She can throw up to 70 miles per hour. We haven't seen her a ton as a starter in SEC play. She has had some starts midweek for LSU, including one versus La Tech last week.
Beth Torina raved about the inning Monticelli threw against Oklahoma.
Yes, Beth Torina was so happy for Monticelli. She said innings like that mean a lot to people when they've transferred from that school. There's that underlying emotion and heart and fire in players when they're facing their old teams, because it's your past teammates. It's people that you played with, you spent a lot of time with on the road, practicing with, practicing against.
Forrester tried to hold up, didn't matter. Gil Zayas, our home plate umpire, rings her up. Strikeout for Monticelli, her first.
Just a great pitch there by Peyton Monticelli. An off-speed changeup there, bottom half of the zone. Just an excellent location on that inside corner.
Strike to Abby Hay, the cleanup hitter for Missouri. First time today Monticelli has gotten ahead with the first pitch.
Abby Hay has a little bit of an inside-out swing, but look at second baseman Sierra Daniels starting with her feet on the grass, trying to give herself a little bit of range and time to cover that hole to her left. There you can see her feet starting at the grass. She'll creep into the dirt as the pitch is coming.
Two and two. Third straight full count. Monticelli's had to work hard in this first inning. Pitch number 25. How did that affect you, if at all, when you had to labor through that first inning, even if there hasn't been much damage?
You know, the first inning, I feel like for pitchers is always hard. Sometimes it helps when you're the visiting team because your team hits first and can help calm some nerves. But that first inning is always a little rough. You're trying to figure out a lot of things like the strike zone, like the plan as Abby Hay takes a walk, the second walk from Peyton Monticelli this inning.
And it's the third Missouri batter in a row to see at least 7 pitches. On average, they've seen 6.5 per plate appearance to start this game.
Yeah, you know, in game one, I was talking to Coach Larissa Anderson from Missouri, and she said that they were very aggressive, which she liked, but they were swinging at a lot of bad pitches. They were swinging at a lot of Jaden Heavner's rise ball up in the zone, pitches that weren't strikes. And we often hear coaches talk about you have to win the walk war. And yesterday in game 2, LSU definitely won the walk battle. There was 11 walks from Missouri pitchers yesterday. But this is a good sign for Missouri, showing a little bit more discipline at the plate, having longer at-bats, seeing a few more pitches, and understanding the zone of what the what our umpire is going to call and how Monticelli is going to attack that area. Coach Anderson just hoping for a feistier offense, a more disciplined offense today. She said sometimes it has to come from them. It has to come from the girls. It has to come from the team. She said, I can tell them everything, but at some point they have to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, like, I have to make a change. I have to make the adjustment.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Abby Card. Missouri has shown an inclination to make that adjustment. Sweep over Auburn last weekend on the road. Brought a 5-game winning streak into this series, but that momentum has been derailed. 2 on, 2 out. Card is short, taken out of the air by Kylie Edwards to end the inning. 2 walks for Monticelli. They don't hurt her. No score after 1.
SEC Softball is presented by T-Mobile, America's best network.
No score after 1 in Columbia. LSU went 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning, but those types of offensive innings have been few and far between, Monica Abbott. 25 runs on 24 hits, 6 of them home runs for LSU in the first 2 days of this series. All the most they've had in any SEC weekend all season.
Hey, when your offense is hot, your offense is hot, and LSU is living that up right now. Coach Beth Torino was talking to us about their hitting coach, Bryce Neal, and says that almost every day at practice during the week, they give them some sort of mentality or mindset speech. And one of the ones that I thought was very impressive that he said is that you always talk about this pass the bat mentality. And we hear it a lot, like turn the lineup over, pass the bat. But he said at some point, you have to want the bat. You have to want to be the hero. You have to want to be the person at the plate. You have to want to be the one that's going to get the hit and be a little selfish and not pass the bat yet. Pass the bat after. You have to want it. You have to want it at the plate.
Strike 3 called. Alex Franklin goes down on 3, and Sierra Harrison has retired all 4 she's faced.
And Sierra Harrison is just rolling right here. She's feeling good at the plate. A great job by Stefania Abrascato behind the plate, giving a nice hold in frame for that strike 3 looking.
Only 9 pitches in the first inning for Harrison. 3-pitch strikeout to start the second. Tori Edwards has homered in each of the first 2 games of this series. She and Kylie Edwards, a little friendly competition, one-upping each other, trying to break the tie for the team lead in homers. Tori's done it twice. Kylie has matched her twice.
Nothing like a little teammate competition.
Outside corner, strike 3 called. 6 pitches, a pair of strikeouts for Sierra Harrison in this second inning.
Well, Sierra Harrison just doing a great job setting the tone for this Missouri Tigers defense. This is exactly what they need. They need leadership from the circle, and no better person than Sierra Harrison, their senior. Take a look at that opponent's batting average right there in the month of February, 329, but in March, talk about turning it around, 197 as we move into the month of April.
Charla Renz bounces one toward the middle, and LSU has its first base runner. Sierra Harrison was looking for an immaculate inning before that. Lorenz aboard with her first hit of the weekend.
Good piece of hitting by Charla Renz, just taking that outside pitch back up the middle. Very simple.
Nothing at 1 on Macy Bajeron, the senior catcher. Had herself a nice weekend. Couple of hits yesterday. Third multi-hit game of the season.
Good pitch there by Sierra Daniels on the inside corner. Not sure where that missed.
Is there a challenge in that at all as a pitcher when you know you made a good pitch, your catcher knows you made a good pitch, and you don't get rewarded for it, but you got to still take something positive from it?
I think at times you kind of like the catcher maybe holds it a beat longer. The pitcher might give the umpire the eyes, so to speak, make eye contact with the home plate umpire and be like, "Are you sure you missed that?" You're almost shocked a little bit, and you want to try that spot again because you want to give the umpire the benefit of the doubt that he will not miss that pitch twice.
Payoff to Bajeron. Driven into center. Langer has room, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Still no score in Como.
Mic'd Up Monday is awesome to give the fans an inside look.
We got one game left. We need to show that we're the most excited to play.
We have some really great minds, and we have some really big personalities.
Let's go! Let's go!
Mic'd Up Monday continues In a couple of evenings here on the SEC Network, Monday night, Courtney Deifel gets her turn. Number 6 Arkansas hosting Auburn. I don't know who decided that today was going to be Beach Bash Day at Mizzou Softball Stadium, but they didn't consult the Farmer's Almanac before they did it. It's 51 degrees and windy today. It feels like 36, but that's not going to stop Truman the Tiger up in the stands.
Well, Truman's always warm with that fur and always looking good in a little grass skirt and bikini.
So what you're saying is if we were going to try to get you in the Truman the Tiger suit, today would be the day.
Today would be the day. I would be okay with that.
Peyton Monticelli deals to Sophie Smith. It's a laborious first inning, but a scoreless one for Monticelli, who threw 31 pitches in the first frame.
Now, Monticelli's just doing a good job, just attacking the zone, staying on the bottom half of the zone, a little bit of change of speed, not a lot. Keeping most pitches at knee height. But I think the approach of the Missouri Tigers today looks a lot better. They just look a little bit more focused, a little bit more disciplined, and they just need to be a little bit greedier.
Up 3rd and foul.
Timing and mechanically what you do with your hands and your lower body, all of that's important in the swing, but you can never underestimate the power of a mindset. Your approach inside the box, sticking to a plan, being confident in that plan.
Obviously, it's translating from hitting to pitching. But for you, how different were your thoughts in your delivery if you were in a bullpen versus if you were pitching in a game?
Oh, I mean, in practice, that's where you do all of your thinking.
Edwards there to squeeze the Smith pop-up. One away. Tonight, Ole Miss and number 21 Florida finish up their 3-game baseball series in Gainesville, and we'll have it for you right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. One down, nobody on for Madison Updegrove. How do you transition that then from the thinking you do in the bullpen, translating into performance in a game?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're in practice, you want to think about those things. You want to think about the mechanics and the form and, hey, my wrist needs to be in this position and my arm needs to speed up and I need better posture and stay on my power line and all of those little details. But when you go into the game, you just want to be able to see a sign and attack a pitch, okay? Like a clear mind and a magnetic mind. I want to magnify the target of where I want that pitch to end. And if possible, if you're really in the zone, maybe you can see the path of the pitch, where it releases out of your hand, how it's going to travel to home plate, where the breaking point is, and then where it's going to attack or end on that hitter.
Two one.
It's hard to worry about a lot of things when you're on the mound. So the less you can do thinking on the mound or in the batter's box, the better.
Wave and a miss by Updegrove. Monticelli has her second strikeout.
Well, Peyton Monticelli going up in the zone here on the outside corner. Just great elevation for that big swing and miss from Madison Updegrove. Her second K of the day.
Kaylee Langer now.
You know what Monticelli's doing really good is she's just getting ahead of these hitters. After going 3-2 multiple times and the first having a couple of walks, she's now gotten ahead of these batters and helping her expand the zone better. To be able to use that rise ball and make the hitter's eyes move up and down.
Off the outer edge, 2 balls and a strike. Big cut by Langer, 2-2.
That's, if you're a power pitcher like Monticelli, that's what you want. You want people to take big cuts. Especially if you're throwing a rise ball. Those big cuts make it really hard on the hitter to be able to make solid contact or be on time.
Swing and a miss. Kaylee Langer can't connect. Monticelli with back-to-back strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning. We'll chat with Beth Torina coming up next. SEC Softball is presented by T-Mobile, America's best network. No score as we head to the third in Columbia. Beth Torina, the head coach of the number 20 LSU Tigers, joins us now. Coach, your bats have been so hot the first couple of games in this series. A quiet start against Sierra Harrison the first 2 innings. What do you want to see as you get ready for a second time through the lineup?
I think just continuing to be aggressive. I think that's what we've done the last few days, just trying to understand exactly the zone, what their approach is today, and then trying to execute a plan within that and just keep being aggressive. I think that's what's worked so well.
Okay, Coach. And then Peyton Monticelli got the start today. First inning, she had 4 of the first 5 batters with a first pitch ball. And then in the second inning, first pitch strike to every hitter. Talk about what you like from her right now.
Spoken like a true pitcher. I must be talking to one of the game's greats up there, talking about first pitch strikes and all the things. So I think you're exactly right. We just got to attack them, attack the zone. It's aggressive on both sides of the ball, right? Aggressive on the mound, aggressive here at the plate too. I think that's what we need to do. But I think Peyton, settled in there a little bit. Her first SEC start today, so I'm sure there was a bit of nerves with it, but happy to see her settle in, and hopefully we get some more good innings out of her.
Absolutely. Coach, one more question for you. You have Go Teal coming up. Can you talk to us just a little bit about this campaign that runs through the SEC and that will be featured here in the coming weeks?
I'd love to. We're honoring Alex Wilcox across the entire SEC next Saturday, April 11th, and raising money for women who are battling ovarian cancer, trying to spread awareness. If you want more information, GEAUXTeal.com. You can go to GoTeal.com, and even if you can't make it out to one of the stadiums or to Baton Rouge, you can walk from home. Join us in the campaign. You can sign up right there on the website. We'd love to have you be a part of an awesome cause as we support Alex Wilcox next weekend.
Coach, we appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.
Well, GoTeal.com, the SEC-wide campaign.
Obviously, a cause close to the SEC's heart since the passing of Alex Wilcox in 2018, former Mississippi State softball player, and also to Beth Torina's. Her mom, Betty, is a survivor. Not only did Beth help to start that All for Alex initiative in the SEC, but also part of a committee of women in the greater Baton Rouge area who got the Go Teal walk going to support the Ovarian Cancer Awareness Foundation. They've raised over $350,000 since their inaugural walk in 2013.
Yes, and that will be coming up where you will see all the teal jerseys by all teams throughout the SEC. So again, goteal.com is where you can find a way to get involved in your local area.
But remember, that's go spelled the LSU way.
Yes, with an X.
Maddox McKee to shortstop. Madison Updegrove there for the first out. And Sierra Harrison has retired 7 of the 8 she's faced. She's been ultra efficient as well. Monticelli has at times had to labor for LSU, 47 pitches through 2 innings. Harrison's barely thrown half that to get through 2 1/3. Avery Hodge in the 9 spot. She's been excellent offensively for LSU this weekend. Had been on an 0 for 17 slide coming into the series. She's got a couple of hits and a pair of walks. First 3-0 count for Sierra Harrison today.
Sierra just needs to settle back and force Hodge to just hit a ground ball to the left side. There she goes, gets a easy strike on 3-0. Not trying to do too much. Let Avery Hodge try to find a way to get herself out and not complicate the zone, even though Hodge is moving through the box.
Top of the order on deck at Jayla Lassiter. And after the power that Lassiter showed yesterday, Missouri would much rather face her with the bases empty.
Yes, absolutely. This is a big out because it's Avery Hodge, although she's the 9 hitter, she's often considered, the 9 spot's often considered another leadoff, right? And they do have that good power at the top of their lineup.
In a center, Kaylee Langer has her perfectly played.
So just a very competitive at bat from Avery Hodge, but Sierra Harrison doing a job of coming back, going 3-0 to a slapper. The number 9 hitter, that's not where you want to be. She bared down there, found her focus, got 2 strikes, worked a foul ball, and then was able to fly out the speedy Hodge.
Lassiter had a fly out to center her first time. Off the mid of Abby Hay at first and into right. Lassiter is hitting all 3 games in this series. To different fields as well.
Yeah, impressive. Spraying the ball all over the field. Just a hard hit to the right side. She takes this curveball that just floats back over the plate just a little bit. Opposite field. Stays deep. Lets the ball travel deep into her barrel.
Sierra Daniel grounded out to second base her first time. Just the 3rd time she's been retired in this series. She's 6 out of 9 for the weekend. Had her first career 4-hit game in yesterday's 16-4 LSU win. Although her shine was quickly stolen by Kylie Edwards, who then hit for the cycle a few pitches later.
Well, everyone was hitting yesterday. Everyone was having a good day at the plate.
One other thing that's benefited Sierra Harrison so far today is something that's plagued Missouri offensively the first 2 games of this series. Both LSU base hits have come with 2 outs.
So another 3-ball count from Sierra Harrison.
And the way Daniels swung it the last few games, don't want to fall behind. First walk from Sierra Harrison, and LSU has 2 on for the first time in the game.
Shortstop number 67, Kylie Edwards.
2 on, 2 out. Who would LSU rather have at the plate than Kylie Edwards? 5 home runs in her last 4. To center field, Langer. And LSU strands 2 more. Edwards got a lot of it, but not quite enough. Home of the Women's College World Series on the ESPN family of networks, and certainly LSU will have their eye on getting back there. It's been nearly a decade for the Fighting Tigers, but that RPI, as we talked about at the top of the telecast, is right there on the line to host a regional. And with the way they're playing lately, 6 wins in their last 9 SEC games, washing out the taste of that rough start in the conference, they are right back in that conversation.
You know, hosting a regional is so important. And I think LSU, they hosted last year in 2025, and they were upset in their regional at home by Southeast Louisiana. And I think a lot of people on this team, including their coaching staff, have that bitter taste, and they want to have the opportunity to host again and rewrite their story. So they've brought in people, went to the transfer portal, they have 11 new faces. And in the beginning of the season, when things weren't going so good, they had to really figure out what the identity of this team was and how they were going to compete for that home bid for regionals in May. So 16 RPI gives them a chance, but that means that they are at the edge of that. So they have to figure out how to stay at 16 or move up in that ranking.
Cahalan towards short. Kylie Edwards quickly unloads to beat Cahalan by a step. One away to open the Missouri 3rd inning with the top of the order now scheduled in Addie Waite and Stefania Abrascato. Waits out a ground out to second base her first time. Talk about the identity of the team forming and getting to know each other, and the coaches getting to understand every player. Bettorina felt like they got a lot of really valuable lessons, difficult as they were to swallow, out of that first series in the SEC. when they were swept by Tennessee. She would have preferred to learn those lessons in non-conference, but they learned them nonetheless, and they've paid dividends since.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that she really mentioned is in that Tennessee series, she felt at times they were playing not to lose. They were playing scared. They didn't really truly believe that they could beat Tennessee at that time, the #1 ranked team at that time. And she said that after that, it almost was a heart-to-heart with the pitching staff, and it really changed the confidence level of the pitchers that they could compete, that they could work together for big wins. And since that time, their staff has stepped up in the circle.
Now batting, catcher number 7, Stefania Abrascano.
We'll have a 2-hour best of the SEC Equestrian Championship for you Monday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. You won't want to miss any of the top moments from the Auburn University Equestrian Center right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Stefania Abrascano takes ball 1. Missouri does not yet have a hit against Peyton Monticelli, but she has walked 3. Put a couple of Tigers on base in the first inning, got away with it. Addie Waits is aboard now with 1 out in the 3rd. Abrascano received one of those 2 walks in the first inning. Chased it 1 and 2.
Just a really big cut by Abrascano. This is someone that the Missouri Tigers need to get hot again. She hit really well when they swept the Auburn series. Has been a little bit quiet in this LSU series. Had a good first at bat, battled deep in the count, and worked hard for that walk. But this is a hitter that Missouri needs to not only be competitive, but to be driving the ball a lot harder.
Larissa Anderson told us she feels Abrascano has shown much better control in the box. She's been better with her pitch selection. First couple of years, Coach Anderson felt at times that Abrascano was very pull conscious. And even early on this season, still had some of that, but she's keeping her bat in the zone longer, using the whole field better.
Yeah, and pitch selection right there just stands out to me. It's so important for a hitter to choose the pitch that's good. And sometimes that's hard to do because we want to swing in certain counts. We want to swing in hitters' counts. We want to swing when we feel good.
Abrascano to left. Well hit, but not well enough. And Loren squeezes it for the 2nd out. But 2 prolonged at-bats for Abrascano. Pair of full counts for her in her 2 trips to the plate. Sydney Forrester now struck out her first time, 0 for 7 with 4 punch-outs in the series.
Forrester is one of those Missouri freshmen that is still getting comfortable at times and still making some freshman mistakes, so to speak. You know, you have to find that momentum and competitiveness. There's no days off in the SEC. There's not a pitcher that you can take lightly. There's not a game that's a given. And Forrester, as a freshman, still looking to find some of that consistency that's needed at the plate.
Monticelli's 2-1. Just 4 strikes in the last 14. Wrap to Edwards out of the hole. Can't bring it in cleanly. 2 on for Missouri.
So just off to the right side by by Forrester. Kylie Edwards pulls up on this just a little bit too much, and instead of staying behind the ball, pops out of her glove.
Abby Hay now. That went as a base hit for Sydney Forrester. Very similar to a ground ball she hit into the hole yesterday. Kylie Edwards made a sliding backhand play and fired across to first to beat her. Looks like Missouri's going to bring on a pinch runner here for Forrester. Danielle Blackston is coming on. Likely will then stay in the game and play right field for however long it takes for Sydney Forrester's number 3 spot in the lineup to come up again. Let me ask you this, Monica. As a pitcher, how would you feel about seeing that one marked a hit when you haven't given one up yet today, and that's kind of marginal, could go either way?
I know this is controversial, but I am going to say that was not a hit. It was definitely an error, and I think if you ask Kylie Edwards, she would agree. And now one error has turned into 2 by Kylie Edwards, bringing across the first run for Missouri in this game.
Second game in a row, Missouri strikes first. A 2-out infield single for Forrester on a play that Edwards could have made, and an error by Kylie Edwards, who has been so magnificent in this series, costs LSU.
Well, Kylie Edwards does a great job at shortstop all series, but this ball just definitely catches her. She tries to move her feet behind instead of coming through this pitch and gives Abby Hay the hit.
Here's Carr, who takes outside. They put it up on the scoreboard as a hit on that one as well. We're waiting on the official scoring. Either way, it's a 1-0 Missouri lead. It is officially a base hit for Hay. So she gets an RBI on the corners for Missouri, and Abby Carr, who has hit in each of the first 2 games of this series, including a 2-run homer in the first inning yesterday. Carr brings in an 8-game hitting streak, a 19-game on-base streak that goes back nearly a month. And she lined out to Edwards at shortstop her first time today. Carr stays alive. There was some action in the LSU bullpen earlier in this inning. Tatum Clopton was up and throwing. Nothing at the moment.
Yeah. Peyton Monticelli, we're in the bottom of the 3rd, but already at 76 pitches.
Ahead of Abby Carr, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Of course, you wouldn't think there would be even an iota of panic in that LSU dugout, because they fell behind 3-0 in the first inning yesterday and promptly scored 16 of the remaining 17 runs in the game. Carr, diving snag by Hodge. What a weekend it's been for Avery Hodge. A couple of hits, a couple of walks, and a web gem to leave 2 Mizzou runners aboard. Missouri scored once in the third. It would have been at least twice, maybe more, if not for Avery Hodge flashing the leather down at third base. Monica, we have watched her win a job on the hot corner for LSU this weekend.
Yeah, and that is how you do it right there defensively, laying out in the most of clutch moments, saving a run. That is how you play the hot corner. Avery Hodge, of course, have had a couple good at-bats as well. Nothing like some inter-team competition.
4, 5, and 6 here for LSU. Alex Franklin, the cleanup hitter, to lead off in this fourth inning. Hit in 5 games in a row. Not a strikeout looking back in the second inning. Now, we talked in a macro sense already about LSU's resilience and mental toughness they've shown this year, as you see Danielle Blackston indeed remaining in the game to play right field until Sydney Forrester's spot in the lineup comes up again. But you see it in a micro sense with individuals too, and Avery Hodge is a testament to that. A kid who had been struggling over the last few weeks, certainly at the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, the game is 90% mental, as they say, and mindset. It's not just mental game, it's the mindset that you have and how easily you're affected by your failures, by your how easily is your confidence affected. And in this game, consistency pays off. Consistency is rewarded.
I think she's clocked our camera that's been on her. She said, Jayla, they keep pointing that camera at me. Tori Edwards had a strikeout her first time as well, but she's homered in each of the first 2 games of this series. One ball, one strike. Which home run is this going to be? Could be either. She's had a couple. Taking Harrison out to center field on Thursday night of the opener. And center again yesterday in game 2. The swing on that first homer in particular was just so impressive to my eye, the way she got her hands through.
Yeah, she's just strong. Like you look at Edwards and she is just strong. You can tell that she puts the work in the weight room, but then her hands have that quickness to get that barrel through the zone.
The Missouri crowd wanted strike 3 there. Stefania Abriscato, though, knew it was outside. Harrison's 2-2 pitch. Wave and a miss by Tori Edwards out in front. Harrison with her 3rd strikeout, 2 of them on the All-American Tori Edwards.
Well, Sierra Harrison on this pitch, this was huge. See how that ball drops off the table, just so impressive. Anything other than the double movement outside and down, that ball probably would have been hit. Incredible job by Sierra Harrison with that drop curve.
Charla Rins now, she had the first of a pair of LSU hits. Both have come with 2 outs. Single from Lorenz in the second. And a single from Lassiter in the third. Harrison has also walked 1. Two and 2.
I like this. Sierra Harrison looks like she's just shaking off a pitch, readjusting to the pitch that she wants to throw.
Well, the Rins didn't chase. Full count.
Being committed to the pitch on the mound as a pitcher is so important.
Lorenz chased that time, and Harrison takes care of her herself. Harrison's retired 7 of the last 9. She's put up 4 zeros. We'll chat with Larissa Anderson after this. SEC softball is presented by T-Mobile, America's best network. Missouri with a 1-0 lead over number 20 LSU as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning in a chilly Mizzou softball stadium. Larissa Anderson is with us now. Coach, hope you're keeping warm down there. What have you liked from your hitters so far and how they're making Peyton Monticelli work?
I feel like we're swinging at some good pitches. We've had some decent contact, but our quality at bats, I mean, able to draw a couple walks there to be able to advance people into scoring position is important for us.
Yeah, and I'd be amiss not to talk about Miss Sierra Harrison. You know, February, she kind of struggled a little bit. March, she really turned it around. What are you looking for from the senior in April?
I mean, really just owning every pitch she throws. I mean, she's got great command. She throws both sides of the plate, but it's her confidence and her presence. Like when she buys into what pitch she's throwing, she commands it, she dominates it, and that's what she needs to continue to do.
Coach, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for being here. MIZ.
Sierra Harrison and Missouri with 4 zeros up on the scoreboard. The first 2 games of this series, only once had Mizzou pitching even put 2 zeros next to each other on the top half of the scoreboard. And LSU scored 16 runs, at least one in the last 6 straight innings yesterday in Game 2. But Harrison has kept LSU off the scoreboard. Only one Bayou Bengal has reached scoring position in the first 4 innings. Sophie Smith with a rocket to Kylie Edwards, and she takes care of Smith for the first out in the 4th. Putting the pressure on the LSU shortstop right away after she had a couple pop out of her glove in the 3rd inning to allow Missouri to score. Madison up to Grove now.
Peyton Monticelli currently at 80 pitches in the 4th inning. The bottom of the lineup here for Mizzou.
Local kid from Columbia. Hit 48 home runs in her high school career. Pops that one up on the infield. Daniel makes the call and the catch. Bit of a tricky play with the wind blowing over that way. 2 down now in the Missouri 4th. Wednesday afternoon, our SEC Now Spring Football Show. We'll have updates from across the conference and break down the SEC draft eligible players who could have their name called in Pittsburgh. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern, noon Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Kaylee Langer scheduled next.
Langer showing butt. I like this. She struck out her first at bat, just not seeing the ball as well as she has in previous years, just trying to find a way on doing other things, right? Like, can I show a bunt? Can I foul some pitches off? Can I take till I get a strike? Different strategies like that to start to hopefully trigger her, to get her back on time for some quality at bats and some quality contact so that she can start being more aggressive.
Off her hands, floated to right center and down a base hit. Kaylee Langer right on cue, a 2-out single for Missouri.
So there she goes again. You see her, she showed the bat. This is a hitter that has been struggling this season a little bit, trying to find a way to get hot, doing something different. She shows the bat, gets a little bit trigger, keeps her hands in to be able to just bloop that in for a base hit.
Second hit of the weekend for Langer, but just the fourth hit Missouri has gotten out of the 6 through 9 spots in the lineup the entire series. Cahalan tops it back to the circle. Monticelli retires Cahalan and the side. Fifth inning coming up. Still a 1-0 lead for Missouri, trying to salvage something from the series. Monica, they've done it in different ways, but two similar looking lines from our starting pitchers today.
Yeah, very competitive. The thing that stands out to me is the walks. You look at Peyton Monticelli, 3 walks. That's upped her pitch count, where Sierra Harrison only has 1 walk. She's at pitch number 53. Peyton Monticelli's already in the 80s. So, but both 3 strikeouts on the day so far.
And to that point, the walks have hurt Monticelli, not only the pitch count, but the only Missouri run scored by Addie Waits was capitalizing off of a walk that started the Mizzou rally in the 3rd.
Well, I'm pretty sure after last night's game, that was a point of emphasis for Coach Larissa Anderson, because Missouri had 11 walks yesterday, which is uncharacteristic and very tough to come back from as a pitcher and a defense.
11 walks from Mizzou pitching yesterday, just 1 through the 4 innings in this series finale. 0-1 to Macy Vacheron. Up and away for a ball. She flied out to center her first time. LSU went scoreless in the top of the 1st yesterday. The remaining 6 innings, they put up 16 runs. They are scoreless so far in their first 4 innings of this one. Just 2 hits after they had 14 hits in the last 6 innings of game 2.
think they're looking for LSU's offense to make an adjustment. Their offense has been so hot in game 1 and game 2, but now through 4 innings has been a little bit quiet against Sierra Harrison today in game 3. Can LSU's offense make an adjustment against Harrison?
Feels like a big at bat here, especially getting down to a 3-2 count. Chance for Bergeron to get on. Bottom of this lineup for LSU has frequently ignited them this weekend. And there is a full count walk to Bergeron. Just the second issued by Harrison, and LSU has a leadoff base runner for the first time today.
Yeah, and then as we talk about the walk, it's the leadoff walk, right? Those can sometimes really hurt you defensively.
LSU is going to go to a pinch runner, Destiny Harris, who started as the DP in game 2. Comes on to run for Bergeron. In fact, not only is this the first leadoff base runner for LSU, it's the first time LSU's had a runner with fewer than 2 outs. So a lot more pressure on a Missouri defense that has been solid today, but shaky in the first 2 games of the series. Maddox McKee, the batter, pops up the bunt. Addie Waits has a chance to turn 2. LSU's first leadoff base runner of the day is erased in 1 pitch.
And just stellar defense, good teamwork right there. Everybody was on the same page, which Missouri has struggled with at some times. But when you pop up that first pitch bunt right there to Addie Waits, getting the double play, getting Sierra Harrison out of the jam and eliminating that free pass.
The 20th double play Missouri has turned this year, top 25 in Division I. Avery Hodge in the number 9 spot. That twin killing was Missouri's defensive highlight of the day, but Hodge still has the defensive highlight of this series finale with her diving play at third base to keep Missouri at just 1 run in the 3rd inning. Would have been at least 2 had she not pulled in that line drive.
Yeah, it was a beautiful play. Definitely Sports Center-esque. Laying out, getting full extension, covering that 5-6 hole.
And I think in the NIL era, pitchers owe Web Gems a little more than just a thumbs up and a fist bump. I think maybe you got to buy dinner now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're making money now, right? So something. At least an Alani or something. I know those girls love their energy drinks.
Sierra Harrison out in front, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Amazing how quickly the momentum of an inning can change with a double play like that. LSU thinking maybe this was their window.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the leadoff walk, right? I mean, those often start rallies, but being eliminated by the popped up bunt, that was just huge.
LSU has made so few mistakes in this series. But today, a couple at inopportune moments. Sophie Smith takes it cleanly, and Missouri is out of the inning. Leadoff walk goes for naught. Harrison faces the minimum, holds on to a 1-run lead. LSU has clinched the series, but every win critical for Missouri. Trying to protect a 500 or better record. A win today would push them back to 1 game over. And of course, you have to be 500 or better to be eligible for an NCAA regional. And there are a few SEC teams, Monica, that are potentially going to be sweating things out down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Here are some teams that we foresee that are at risk for not making postseason or having a 500 record. And this is largely due to the teams that are coming up in SEC play. And what can potentially even hurt some of these SEC teams is even if they're a game above 500, every team in the SEC goes to the SEC tournament. So that can be an advantage or disadvantage for some of these bottom half teams in the SEC. It just shows the importance of scheduling and how your schedule lays out. Of course, teams in the SEC are scheduled by an automatic shuffle draw kind of random computer system that puts the schedules together. Coach Beth Trina was talking about LSU's schedule and mentioned that it's kind of a slow build for LSU this season in the SEC.
Addie Waits up the middle and leadoff single at the top of the Missouri lineup. Second time that Waits has been on in the game. First time was a walk in the third, and she came around to score the only run. The Missouri tournament resume is not as pretty as LSU's. The RPI down at 46, but of course a very strong schedule, true of every team in the SEC. And as a result, there are plenty of opportunities still in front of Mizzou.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a lot of big games coming up. One that we could potentially highlight that we're both on that in danger of at-risk teams is they play South Carolina at home in a 3-game series. So that'll be a really important upcoming series for Missouri Tigers. But in the SEC, every game is important. We know that. But Missouri, they have to find ways to win more games and pull off some close wins.
Peyton Monticelli listed from the game, and Jaden Heavner coming on. Jaden Heavner struck out 11 Thursday night in LSU's run rule win, and she's coming on now Saturday in relief.
Yeah, this is a good move for LSU, getting later in the game to bring in Heavner. She was dominant in game 1. This southpaw does it all from the mound, but you're going to see a lot of curve, backdoor curve, and rise ball. She can throw upper 60, 68 miles per hour and above. So she has really good speed. She hides the ball well. This is going to be a challenge for the Missouri hitters.
Bruscato chases, 0-1.
It oftentimes looked like in game 1 that Heavner just basically overpowered the Missouri hitters. You see that curveball both sides of the plate. She has that great lefty curve. There you see it. That one ran a little bit wide.
Those 11 strikeouts for Heavner in the series opener, a career high against SEC opposition. And Bruscato pops up a bunt. It falls foul. Missed opportunity for LSU. Popped up bunt burned LSU in the top of this inning. Missouri gets away with it.
Yeah, lucky there that ball dropped.
And Bruscato has walked and flied to left.
Against this left-handed hitter, you can see Abriscato just on top of the plate, trying to take away that curveball and backdoor curve from Huebner. That lefty-on-lefty matchup can be really tough for those left-handed hitters. Getting on top of the plate and making the pitcher adjust the zone, adjust her curveball so that the barrel is hitting the curveball on the break. And all of a sudden it makes that curveball that's probably River feel a lot easier to hit. It makes her adjust her eyes easier on that lefty-lefty matchup.
Huebner's 2-2. Peyton Monticelli, the LSU starter, 4 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits. She is responsible for Addie Waits over at first base after the leadoff single. Abriscato sends it high out to right. Alex Franklin for the catch. But a good effort from Monticelli in her first SEC start at LSU.
Yeah, Monticelli did a great job. 3 strikeouts, rolled some ground balls.
Larissa Anderson in to confirm the re-entry of Sydney Forrester in the number 3 spot in the lineup. Forrester has had a struggle of an offensive weekend. This would be a big moment for the freshman to break out.
No time like the present, as they would say.
Had her first hit of the series her last time. And a chance to fully set the table with Abby Hay and Abby Carr, perhaps Missouri's 2 most dangerous hitters, waiting in the wings.
Huebner's curveball just breaking a little bit too much right now into the righties. She just needs to hone that in just slightly.
Forrester got under it. Franklin calls off Daniel, 2 down. Huebner trying to keep the LSU deficit at 1 because remember, LSU has the top of the order scheduled in this 6th inning. And a fearsome top of the order it is indeed. Abby Hay has not been retired today. A walk in the first inning, RBI single her last time in the 3rd.
Missouri has to continue to have competitive, gritty at-bats. It's a big swing off of the hard-throwing Huebner. Shorten up. Get the barrel to the ball.
Shows you how difficult it is to get a sweep in the SEC, in particular on the road. Yeah. LSU over the first 2 games of this series outscored Missouri 25-5.
Yeah, that's so impressive, the LSU offense. And then here they are in game 3, down by 1 in the bottom of the 5th, having to bring their ace in to try to make sure that it stays a one-run game. And here Missouri is trying to turn it around and push another run against the same pitcher that in game 1 struck out 11 of them.
Hay tried to check her swing, got a piece. 2-2 still to count. In the last 7 years, LSU, for all the games they've won in that span, all the success they've had, has swept a road series in the SEC 1 time.
So hard, just so hard to do.
2-2. Hay to center. Lassiter has room. The wind takes her for a ride, but she squeezes the 3rd out. Lassiter will lead off in the 6th inning, and Kylie Edwards, coming off the first cycle in LSU history, will bat third when LSU try to come back from down a run. Does she have more fireworks for us this weekend in Columbia? Find out next. We'll have the 3-game series between number 7 Florida and South Carolina. Friday and Saturday's games right here on the SEC Network. The series finale Sunday afternoon on SEC Network Plus. All games also available on the ESPN app. Nate Gatter, Monica Abbott, our entire SEC Network crew back with you from Columbia, where it's a 1-0 Missouri lead moving to the 6th. And Larissa Anderson was just out to discuss something with our umpires, and they are getting together. That's Cameron Ellison, the first base umpire, and Gil Zayas, our home plate umpire, who are discussing. Carlos Guzman is down at third, and he's looking in as though he might feel a little bit left out.
They're so far away.
Evidently, everything's in order, and the top of the LSU lineup will bat against Sierra Harrison, who has turned in 5 scoreless innings for Mizzou. Missouri 19-3 when protecting a lead after 5. Lassiter to center field. Langer on the edge of the track for the out. And that kind of series for the most part for Jayla Lassiter. Hard hit balls that have found gloves. Look at how the offense has dried up for LSU. 25 runs on 24 hits, 6 of them home runs the first 2 games. They have a couple of singles today, and that is it.
Yeah, they have done such a good job all series, but Sierra Harrison has their number so far today. She's stepped up big for Missouri. We talked about it earlier, but Missouri's a team that has to find a way to steal wins in a 3-game series right now. If they could find a way to get a win here and there and help their overall record.
Whoa, Sierra Harrison.
My heart skipped a beat on that one as a former pitcher. She protects her face, gets the glove there, and makes the big out. Hard hit right back at her, but Sierra Harrison said, nope, I got this. Calm and cool as a cucumber out there, making that catch.
Sierra robbed Sierra. Here's Kylie Edwards. I guess maybe that means Sierra with a C has supremacy today over Sierra with an S. We are in Columbia after all.
Columbia with a C.
As opposed to Columbia with an S.
Oh!
Back at Harrison, twice is nice.
Wow, that was impressive. Stick your glove out and find the ball. Sierra Harrison doing the defense from the play. Check out this catch.
SEC Softball is presented by T-Mobile, America's best network.
Sierra Harrison doing her best Monica Abbott impression out there. Back-to-back comeback line drives, both snagged by Harrison. That's exactly what you told her to do. Just show the athleticism, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? I think Sierra Harrison did it better than me, sticking the glove out, making the plays, and cool as a cucumber on the mound while doing it. Very impressive on the hard comebackers right back at her.
Abby Carr leads off the home six for the Missouri. 1-0 lead. Jaden Heavner on out of the LSU bullpen, her second full inning.
Now this is an important inning for the Missouri offense. They need to find a way to at least get one base runner on and try to win this bottom of the sixth, top of the seventh inning.
Because LSU will have the heart of its lineup in the seventh, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, you want to keep the momentum on your side as an as the team that is ahead. And what that looks like is getting someone on base, trying to find at least one hit. Yes, if you can score, that's bonus. That would be huge, add an insurance run, but at least have very competitive at bats, go deep in counts, make sure they know that you're still there and you're competing every pitch and you're not going to give up at all in this game.
Abby Carr has hit the ball hard, a couple of line outs to the left side of the infield. To Edwards, the shortstop in the first inning, and then she was robbed on what would have been an RBI and likely extra bases by Avery Hodge at third base back in the third. Carr waves and misses, chased way outside on what would have been ball 4.
Now batting second baseman number 22, Sophie Smith.
So Heavner trying to throw a changeup on the outside corner, not her normal go-to pitch, but catches Abby Carr with her bat out in front for her second strikeout.
And as it stands, that would end Abby Carr's 19-game on-base streak, going all the way back to March the 8th.
Still very impressive from a freshman, a 19-game on-base streak. She's really added a lot to this Missouri team this year.
0-1 on Sophie Smith. They say whether it's an on-base streak or a hitting streak, getting a web gem against you gets the alarm bells going. This might be the day it ends, and Avery Hodge took what should have been a base hit away from Carr back in the third inning, and indeed, as it stands, it would spell the end of both the 8-game hitting streak, 19-game on-base streak. Sophie Smith just swung and missed on a pitch that hit her in the helmet. And she thinks she's staying in there, but unless she got a piece of it, she must have skimmed it off her helmet. Gil Zayas, the home plate umpire, did not signal a foul ball. He's going to call the umpires in. Sophie Smith, according to our plate umpire, Gil Zayas, just missed that ball, and that would be strike 3, whether it hit her or not. No clear signal.
So I think they're going to play it as a foul ball here, but yeah, I mean, she just missed that and it hit her in the helmet.
And Gil Zayas called her out at the time, and then the umpires convened and they never gave another signal or announcement to overturn it to a foul ball, which is evidently what they're doing, and you can see on the replay that's a mistake. So Heavner will have to try to get the strikeout with a fourth pitch, and Gil Zayas gives her a very generous outside corner. What a wacky way for that at bat to go the last couple of pitches.
Yeah, just a funky at bat here, but Heavner comes right back with that backdoor curve for strike 3. Now this is exactly not what Missouri offense needs to be doing right here. You know, they're going to the bottom of the 6th, a 1-0 lead. They need to be having better at bats. The last thing that they need is for Huebner to strike out the side. If Huebner is able to do that, the momentum that LSU will have going into the top of the 7th is going to be monumental.
Gracie Britton is the pinch hitter for Missouri. She has pinch hit in each of the first 2 games of this series. She has worked 2 walks. Had a bases loaded walk on Thursday. Brought in Missouri's only run of the series opener. 1 run on Thursday for Mizzou meant a 9-1 loss. 1 run today might well mean victory. It would be the first time all year that LSU has lost a game when allowing 2 runs or fewer. They were 18-0 coming into today, including Thursday's game 1. And Britton is hit by the pitch. Something about Gracie Britton. She's only had a dozen plate appearances in college. Only 2 hits to her career ledger. But LSU pitchers have not wanted any part of her this weekend. 2 walks, and now she's hit by what would have been ball 4.
Yeah, she just happens to find her way on base. And although we don't like to see the hit by pitch, this helps Missouri try to maintain some momentum on their side and not letting LSU and Huebner have a 1-2-3 inning.
Lenny Ramsey will pinch run for Britton. And Avery Adcock is going to get a chance to pinch hit for Mizzou. Number 8 spot in the lineup that belongs to Kaylee Langer. Adcock, the freshman, has just 2 collegiate at-bats. Third at bat as a college softball player. No pressure. Get in there in a 1-run game against Jaden Huebner.
Yeah, who struck out 11 in game 1.
Adcock tries to hold up and does.
Pinch hitting is a hard thing to do. You have to really pay attention throughout the game on what hitters are getting. You have to control your nerves at the plate, understand the zone that's being called that day.
Did you do anything differently facing a pinch hitter?
I always wanted to attack the pinch hitter. I always thought, like I might as well just throw it down the middle on the first pitch. Probably not the smartest thing, but that's not what I want. This is exactly what I wouldn't want against a pinch hitter, is walking them. They've been sitting on the bench for multiple innings. When's the last time they saw a pitch out of a pitcher's hand? Was in BP at this point almost probably 3 hours ago. I would like to bet on my timing as a pitcher that even if they do swing, most likely it'll be a foul ball or a swing miss.
Ball 1 to Claire Cahalan in the number 9 spot for Mizzou. It's a good point, though, because Huebner had the bases empty with 2 outs. Missouri set up a pair of freshman pinch hitters. Between them, only 15 plate appearances in college.
And I don't think either of them took the bat off their shoulder. They didn't swing once in their at-bats.
Nonetheless, Missouri has created a 2-out opportunity. Cahalan softly to Hodge. LSU gets out of it. 4, 5, and 6 scheduled for the Tigers. Their last wraps in the 7th.
ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv. All out-of-market games live or on demand all in one place.
Missouri got the only run today in the third inning. This went as an RBI single for Abby Hay, driving in Addie Waits. And after the Tigers were outscored 25-5 in the first two games of this series, Sierra Harrison with 6 scoreless is 3 outs away from making Mizzou's one run stand up.
Yeah, Sierra Harrison has just been phenomenal, snagging some line drives back at her, but dominating the zone and getting ahead. She's been competitive in some full counts, but just 2 walks on the game so far. Looking to close it out for the Missouri Tigers in the top of the 7th.
Alex Franklin, the cleanup hitter, is first for LSU. She'll be followed by Tori Edwards and Charla Rins. Rope toward the middle, past the diving Smith. Leadoff base hit for LSU. Second time in 7 innings, the Bayou Bengals have had the leadoff base runner aboard.
The batter, first baseman number 42, Tori Edwards.
So Alex Franklin taking this outside pitch. Curveball on the outside corner, a little bit elevated, allowing her to drive it back up the middle.
And now Tori Edwards, the All-American a year ago, who has homered in each of the first 2 games of this series.
But Sierra Harrison has had her number today.
2 at-bats for Harrison today, 2 strikeouts, but you see the damage she's done over the course of the weekend. Harrison does not have a 7-inning shutout this year. Her only shutout on the season was a 5-inning no-hitter against SIUE a week and a half ago.
This is the 3rd time for Edwards facing Harrison. Something that we rarely see today, right? Pitchers aren't going deep in the game. Pitchers are often replaced for a closer, but this is a big move for Sierra Harrison and the Missouri Tigers. Finding ways to get hitters out multiple times, and can she do it once again against Tori Edwards in the 7th?
Harrison has been on cruise control for much of this game. LSU has had a runner in scoring position just once. Nonetheless, it's a precarious Missouri lead, and Tori Edwards in the box has the potential go-ahead run. To the left side, up to Grove, snags it. Could it be another double play? Picked out by Abby Hay. The 2nd time in the last 3 innings, Missouri gets a line drive double play to turn 2 on LSU.
Wow, Sierra Harrison making a big-time pitch here to Tori Edwards, but the Madison Updegrove at shortstop, moving her feet and making the long throw, but Abby Hay at first base with the stretch and the pick to get the double play. That is a huge, huge double play for Missouri in this top of the 7th, now with 2 outs to try to secure this victory.
Charla Rins into right. It is down for a base hit in front of Addie Kohler. Lorenz is aboard. So the potential tying run right back on base 1 pitch later. 2nd hit today for Lorenz.
Catcher, number 12, Macy Batcheron.
So Harrison needs to do what she's been doing all game, settle in after the big double play, get back to her rhythm and her timing, get ahead early and use her defense.
Sierra Harrison has just 4 7-inning shutouts in her collegiate career. Only 1 of them against SEC opposition. It came more than 2 years ago. 1 ball, 1 strike on the veteran Macy Batcheron. Harrison's SEC shutout was March the 9th of 2024 as a sophomore. She struck out 9 in a 5-0 win over Auburn. 1-1.
Really good pitches back-to-back, inside corner, outside corner, going with her curveball, one of her best pitches. And now the Missouri crowd is on their feet.
Bergeron keeps LSU alive.
Fouling off the changeup. Working to see another pitch.
LSU put up 25 runs the first 2 games of this series. Harrison will have to throw at least one more pitch.
And fouled straight back by Bergeron, just being feisty up there. It shows that her timing is good when that ball is fouled straight back. Sierra Harrison is going to have to make a really good pitch here to get Bergeron.
Senior against senior. 1-2. Bergeron has 3 hits in the series. Today, a fly to center and a walk. Lorenz, the potential tying run at first. Harrison's 2-2. To short, up to Grove. Abby Hay off the bag, puts the tag on Bergeron. Sierra Harrison with a 7-inning SEC shutout for the first time in more than 2 years, and Missouri gets a critical Game 3 win over LSU.
And Sierra Harrison getting all the hugs from her teammates, but what a total team win defensively, making some good plays. But Sierra Harrison turning her season around as she goes into April with a shutout of number 20 LSU. The 7th, a hard ground ball to shortstop. Up to Grove makes a hard throw, but then Abby Hay over at first base, making the catch in the tag for the out. That's great team defense, playing as one to help secure that victory and get the win for the Missouri Tigers to move them above 500.
25 runs for LSU the first 2 games of this series. Sierra Harrison, the senior, stepped up to put a stop to that. We'll talk to her on the other side of this break. Missouri with a 1-0 win over number 20 LSU in the finale of this weekend series in Columbia. We're joined now by the Tigers hero, Sierra Harrison. Sierra, not only your second career 7-inning shutout against an SEC team, but your pitching staff had given up 25 runs the last 2 days. What was going through your mind today to change the momentum of this series and maybe of this season?
Coach just kind of talked to us yesterday just about the walks that we were giving up and just saying that we can't give up that many walks. So today I just thought I'd come out there and just throw my best stuff.
Yeah, and throw your best stuff. You absolutely did. You know, I talked about it throughout the broadcast, but it's absolutely impressive on your personal turnaround from February to March and now going into April. How has it been on the mound with your mindset throughout today's game?
I just feel like I kind of had a lot of confidence. My teammates backed me up a lot during this game, so knowing that my defense had my back, and just a lot of confidence on the mound.
Sierra, that outside corner was working for you all day. We saw it with a curveball, we saw it with a drop ball, a little bit of a changeup, but the hit's right back at you. How do you stay calm under pressure snagging those line drives?
I don't know. I guess I just had a little bit of cat-like reflexes, them coming right back at me, but just trying to stay calm and just keep throwing during the game.
Yeah, I think Sophie Smith is trying to provide some distraction next door.
Yeah, she is.
Sierra, we know what a grind the SEC is, this level of competition every weekend. What do you think this team needs to do to be its best down the stretch?
I feel like we just need to keep playing, and we just need to keep putting giving our all on the field. Yeah, this conference is the best of the best. We play the best competition every weekend, and I think we just need to go out and keep our composure and keep our confidence and take this win into the next series we have.
Sierra, thanks a lot for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That'll do it for us today in Columbia. For producer Walter Fields, director Michael Ireland, my partner Monica Abbott, Nate Gatter saying so long from Como, where Mizzou reverses fortunes in a 1-0 win to salvage something for the third game of this weekend series against number 20 LSU. Send you to the studio next, starring Oka and Jared Mitchell.